Okay, 3 steps to becoming a perfect human being. Are you ready? Okay, you're gonna be waiting an awful long time because that's not real. But maybe that's the conversation you've been in for a while. Here's a resource for you today. Perfectionism is a common human default, let's say. I'm sure you've experienced it, I experienced it. None of us stays stuck there, but oftentimes it can get easy to be in a loop around perfectionism. And it can also be easy to confuse or collapse perfectionism with excellence. So let's tease those two things apart and see what we can find. When you or I am living out of perfectionism, you'll notice a sense of scarcity, regret, guilt, depression, shame, despair, self-focus, fear or anxiety, proving, protecting, preventing, and a rigidity, and also a willingness to keep things close to the vest. Solo play, not playing well with others, not asking for help. Do any of those sound familiar? The experience of excellence includes abundance, hope, joy, freedom, other-focused, love, peace, surrender, being in reality, creative, adaptable, and collaborative. I'm sure if you've listened to both lists, you're thinking excellence sounds like a much better deal. How do I shift? How do I shift from perfectionism to excellence? Number 1, perfectionism in and of itself is a focus on me. When I am in a perfectionistic mindset, my focus, my attention is drawn back towards me. What am I doing? What am I not doing? What am I not doing good enough? What do I need to be doing? Excellence, on the other hand, is really a focus on results. It's a focus on other people. What am I producing and what is it creating for someone else? So start there, just the platform between the two is very different. They have a very different underlying concern. Here are some reasons why perfectionism is the enemy of transformation. First of all, it's a very scarce mindset. What I mean by scarce is it's very limited. When I am in a perfectionistic mode, my perception is really rigid. I can only see a couple of things. I can do it this way, the way I see I need to do it, and if I'm not doing it that way, then it's wrong and bad and broken, and I don't want to be that, so now I've got to be this. And the pressure that you or I live under when we're in a perfectionism way of thinking is deep. There's a lot of pressure. And that pressure often manifests itself like shame. So you'll know you're in a perfectionistic loop or mindset when you're experiencing shame. Shame is telling yourself, I am not enough, I am wrong, or I am bad. There's something wrong with me. And the way that it manifests in a perfectionistic perspective is we look at something that we're going to do. If we can't figure it out and do it perfectly the first time we do it, the shame sets in. And the internal narrative sounds like, that's because I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm stupid, I can't get myself together. Now maybe some of those sound familiar to you. So just pause and notice where shame might be coming in and infiltrating your internal narrative. And if that's happening, chances are, again, you're stuck in a perfectionistic expectation of yourself. The second piece that goes right along with that is the punitive mindset. There's a punishment that's involved. So if I'm bad and wrong and I'm not enough, then the punitive sets in and I now find ways to punish myself, whether that's how I talk to myself, what I allow myself to do, who I allow myself to be with. And the other result is my internal conversation leaks out. So if I'm being perfectionistic, if I'm being hard on myself, chances are 1000% that I am being hard on other people and I'm being punitive towards other people, that I am somehow communicating to the people around me, you're wrong, you're bad, you're not enough. And I know that can be difficult sometimes to see. I know when I'm talking to people that are stuck in a perfectionistic mindset, or when I'm stuck in my own, I tend to say things like, oh no, I'm just hard on myself. I'm not hard on other people. I'm just hard on myself. I give other people a lot of grace. Now ask yourself, why would you need to give other people a lot of grace if you were not already in a punitive mindset? You see the way that that works? So it can be very difficult to see and to catch ourselves when we're stuck that way, because again, it can seem like it's wrong and bad. And even asking ourselves, am I being a perfectionist right now? The answer might end up being no, only because I don't want to see when and where I am living this way. Perfectionism also generates a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. I've spoken many times over this whole pandemic situation that we're in about the feelings of overwhelm and anxiety and fear. And perfectionism plays a huge part in those internal experiences. It's easy to think there's some magical, perfect way we should all be doing pandemic. There should be doing this. I should be writing the great American novel. I should be reaching out to people every day. I should be cleaning out all the drawers in my house and all the closets. Now, maybe you've been doing those things. That's great. And that's no judgment about those things. What I'm asking is for you to consider, what standards are you holding yourself up to? And the way that you're holding yourself, what is it communicating back to you about who you are and who you aren't? Perfectionism is a performative mindset. It sets us on this loop, this hamster wheel of performance, where I'm constantly pressuring myself to do more, get it right, don't make a mistake, don't be stupid, do everything perfect the first time I do it, even if I've never done it before. All these very unrealistic expectations. And essentially, perfectionism ends in despair. It ends in despair because we are human and we cannot be perfect 100% of the time. Now, we can have excellent experiences and we can serve with excellence, we can create with excellence, absolutely. But we're not perfect, and we're not created to flawlessly execute 100% of the time. But in the perfectionistic mindset, that is the expectation. And that's where the despair seeps in. And you'll notice, if you are caught in a perfectionistic way of thinking, that you've probably lost energy around doing things. Maybe there's regret. You feel the need to be proving constantly or protecting yourself. It's a great comfort zone. It's a great safety zone in a sense, where if I can manage and control everything around me and how people perceive me and what I'm doing and what I'm not doing and getting it right all the time, that somehow I'm going to be safe from what? Disappointment, from disappointing myself, from disappointing other people, safe from having people leave because I didn't get it right or I'm not enough. Perfectionism sets up a transactional relationship with yourself. I am telling myself I'm only good for what I can do. I'm only good for when I get it right. When I don't get it right or I can't do something, then I'm not good. I'm bad. I'm wrong. There's something wrong with me. And that's another attitude that translates to other people, is that transactional way of thinking. I say transaction as opposed to relational. So in a relationship where we're relating to one another, there's a willingness to hear people, to be with people, to suffer with people, to join in with people when things aren't perfect or great or the way we want them or the way they want them. Perfectionism doesn't allow that because the transaction cuts it off. The transaction communicates that it's wrong, and so we need to move on, or people need to move on from us because somehow we're wrong or we're not enough. Perfectionism is the enemy of transformation because it also undermines our willingness to look into our blind spots. It undermines our willingness to see where we need to shift. Because if I start to notice something that's not aligned or an area I need to shift or just something that was a blind spot, I didn't even notice it, the immediate condemnation, the punitiveness, the guilt, the shame heaps on so heavily that in order to not have that happen, I won't see my blind spots. In other words, I'll be so tempted to reframe the blind spot as something else. Like, no, it wasn't really that. What I really meant was this. Oh, that wasn't me doing that. I wasn't being insensitive. What I was doing was focusing on results. There's a lot of very sneaky ways that we trick ourselves and attempt to trick other people into reframing or recategorizing the perfectionism into something else, so we don't have to look at what we don't really want to see. Now, oftentimes people say, no, I really want to see my blind spots. Everybody wants to see their blind spots until they see their blind spots. And then suddenly, no, just wait. Let me explain. Let me explain it's really this, or let me explain it's really that, or let me repackage it into something else. I get it, do it, I understand. But this is one reason why it's such an enemy of transformation. Because if we can't see something that's not working, we can't shift it. So therefore, it just continues to not be working. It continues to undermine what we really long for, which is relationship and excellence and creating value. You have energy, all this energy to awaken things like joy, love, peace, friendship into this world, into the relationships that mean the most to you. And what perfectionism does is it takes all this glory and all this wonderful energy and all this beauty that's you, and it tries to siphon it through this straw. A little tiny straw that it can't get through because it's too narrow. It can't possibly contain the volume of beauty that you are. Perfectionism also demands a solo game. When we're living in a perfectionist conversation, we're usually just relying on ourselves. It doesn't occur to us to ask for help. As a matter of fact, it could even seem like a threat to ask for help, or a problem, or somehow an admission of insufficiency if I ask for help. Whereas excellence invites collaboration. It invites other people and abundance, and it lets us know that we are better together than just alone. There's more perspectives, there's more resource when we invite other people to collaborate with us and to speak into the things that we're seeing so that we can achieve something excellent and wonderful together. And that brings joy. It invites an adaptability that also is part of excellence. It's also part of health. When we're in perfectionism, we tend to get rigid. We tend to get smaller. And the more that we collaborate, the more generative and generous we are with our lives, with our ideas, the more beauty that we can create, the more relationship we can invest in, and the more joy we can share with the people around us. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, if it created value for you, smash that like button. Leave me a comment. If there's something you'd like to see another topic, also write it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you.